Welcome to the Beth Couture Show. I'm your host, Becca Bornhorst. Right now, the Lady Bulldogs are the hottest team in the Atlantic 10, and they've won 10 of their 12 last games, and they're 4-1 in conference play. The Bulldogs are 6-1 in January, and they face a tough opponent this week at St. Joseph's in Philadelphia. After we return from the break, I will be joined by head coach Beth Couture. You've been watching the Beth Couture Show on ButlerSports.com. Welcome back to the Beth Couture Show. Thanks so much for joining me, Coach.
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to see you, Becca.
Yeah, so your team has won 10 of the last 12 games and is 4-1 in conference, has won 4 in a row. So talk a little bit about your team's success and what has helped them in these last few games.
Well, I'm really excited about it. I think things are coming together. There's obviously still a lot of things we can get better at, but I think the players really play hard together. And they're determined to win. You know, they come into practice ready. I don't know if we've had a really bad practice, you know. They come in focused and they listen to the game plan. And it's just been a lot of fun for me as a coach to watch them grow. And I do think we're getting better. I mean, obviously we got a lot of challenges ahead of us, but I think if we continue to stay focused, we'll be fine.
And talk about Liz Stratman. Since she's been in the lineup, you guys have been 9-2. She's averaging 12.3 points per game and 3.1 blocks. So talk about the importance of Stratman.
She is important. You know, where we're really hurting is we didn't have any bigs to come off the bench, you know. So when Liz got eligible, it just helped us because we got 3 solid posts, you know, with Liz, Darius, and Amanda Raker. I mean, it's really hard. So we feel like we can play any of them at any time and be solid on the floor.
And since the beginning of Atlantic 10 play, your team has traveled to some new gyms and new places. So talk about that new element of travel and how your team's handled that.
Well, it's been great. You know, I mean, we've had to fly. We're not on the bus anymore, so that's a little different for us. But we've been flying and you know, we charter some and just to go to new cities and eat at different places. You know, we go into UMass and we go to a seafood restaurant and get lobster or whatever everybody wants. So I think it's good. I think it's good to go into gyms and not already know what the game plans are, what other teams have done. It's been tough on the coaches because we have to scout even extra hard because you don't have that familiarity from the year before. But I think it's really good. I really like the A10. I think it's very professional, and we feel really fortunate to be in the league.
That's great. So now let's take a look at some clips from the VCU game just yesterday. You guys had a 20-point win. So this first clip is of Taylor Shippers handling some pressure here and passing it ahead to Darius McClung.
Yeah. Well, it starts with Mandy just dribbling out of the trap, which I thought was great, and then Taylor finds Darius, and of course Darius finishes. So I thought it was really 3 people making that play, and we talked a lot the day before in practice about not holding the ball in the trap, and I thought Mandy did an excellent job all night about getting us easy shots out of the trap.
Now this next clip is a transition bucket, and Taylor passes way ahead to Liz Stratman here, who has a great
Here's
catch.
your 1-2 punch right here, and Liz loves to run the floor, and Taylor loves to find her. I think they're roommates now, and I'm sure they talk about that, but it's really neat. And it shows you how athletic Liz is to be able to catch the ball on the run and finish under pressure, and she's done that well for us all year. And I think another thing when you ask me about adding her to the lineup, she does bring that. You know, she runs the floor, so people really have to be really strong in their defensive transition against Liz.
That's great. And this last clip is VCU again trying to trap, and we beat the trap. Butler beats the trap and finds Amanda Raker.
Yeah, Hannah does a great job here of just finding Amanda streaking to the basket, and Rake finishes. She's done such a good job of finishing this year. You know, that's one of the things we wanted her to improve on, and she worked hard in the off season, and it's really showing in her play.
That's great. So that's what's been happening so far, and when we return from the break, we will talk about the upcoming games here. You've been watching the Beth Couture Show on ButlerSports.com. Welcome back to the Beth Couture Show. So now before we talk about this upcoming game, let's talk a little bit about Darius McClung. She's just been doing it all for your team. She's a leader in the Atlantic 10 in scoring, rebounding, blocks, and steals. So just talk about Darius and how important she is to your team.
Well, it's just been a joy for me to watch her. You know, I mean, she makes me a better coach, obviously, because she's such a good player. But I think what people don't really understand about Darius is how clever she is. You know, she knows where to go. She reads the defense. And then defensively, she definitely can change the game. So it's not common to have a player like Darius who changes the game on both ends, and she does. She can change it on defensively. Last night she had 5 you know, 5 steals and just taking the ball out of people's hands. And then, of course, offensively with her in and out threat, being able to shoot the three, being able to go inside, it's just unbelievable. I'll be honest, Becca, sometimes I just catch myself watching her play because it's just so much fun. And we're just so happy Dersha's part of our program, and she's going to enjoy her last 2 years of college basketball.
Yeah, she's definitely fun to watch. So this week, let's talk about this upcoming game here on Wednesday. You travel back to Philadelphia to play at St. Joseph's. They're 13-5, definitely a good team. So talk about what you to expect against St. Joe's.
Yeah, it's going to be a great test for us. You know, they're really good. They're well-rounded. They got great outside shooting. They got great inside play. You know, they got tradition in the A-10. So I really want to see where we are. You know, it's going to be a great test for us. I'm sure our players are going to be ready to go. I think it'll be a 40-minute game. I think it could come down to defense, though, because they're a good defensive team, and I think at times we can play pretty good defense, and it could come down to that. But at the end of the day, I think after the game on Wednesday, Becca, we'll have a better gauge of where we are and what we need to do as a team to continue to improve to get to that A-10 tournament and be ready to go.
And another kind of fun fact is that St. Joe's is where the Atlantic 10 Conference Tournament takes place. So talk about maybe your team having an advantage being able to play there during regular season. Do you think that's an advantage?
I do, Becca. I think it's an advantage because we've never been there. You know, so our players, if they would have come to Hinkle and then we have to go there for the tournament, we'd never played there. So I think to have that have some familiarity with that gym and our kids to be able to shoot in that gym and play in that gym and be in that city, I think it's really important. So I do think it's an advantage. But at the end of the day, when that ball goes up, you know, it just depends on what teams are ready. And I have a lot of confidence in our team this year that they're ready to go.
Well, that's all I have for you, Coach. Thanks for joining me, and good luck at St. Joseph's this week.
Thanks, Becca.
And thanks so much for joining us today. We will be back here next Monday on February 4th. You've been watching The Beth Couture Show on ButlerSports.com.